So, we are live on both channels. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. Flavor trip. Okay. All right. Hello, superhero friends. Welcome to the weekend. I am your host, April O'Neil. I'm streaming live on TikTok. We are going to be doing a really special read today. We're revisiting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I'm going to see if I can do some live gaming as April O'Neil with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. So happy weekend, happy Saturday. I was going to do a little bit of Astro before this, but I wanted to get right into the comic book read because as you guys know, I love the library and I love taking out comic books from the library, especially ones that I wouldn't necessarily be able to afford. I mean, certain comic books I like to own myself, of course, but some, of course, are, it's nice to get a little taste of it and then return it and then maybe revisit it when you would like. So today we are going to be doing a bit of a crossover event between Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm going to skip ahead to a certain part in the read where April O'Neil and Batgirl meet because I love both of those characters, and so I'm doing a little special conversation between April and Batgirl, because they're actually two redheads who I adore very much. And they're both, and you'll see in the comics, they actually do get along, and there's a really cute scene in here, really wholesome for the weekend, where Batman, Robin, and Batgirl are hanging out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Splinter. So that's super fun, right? Let's get right into it. I'm going to drop in some intel because I did a previous, I don't even want to call it, like I'm an astrologer as well, you guys. So my lens of astrology is something called neurolinguistic astrology. And to clarify my terms when it comes to that, neurolinguistic comes from the concept of NLP, which is neurolinguistic programming. It's this concept of the words that you say matter, right? So the order by which you even say a sentence is going to impact the way that someone is going to receive that message. And this communication not only is important when it comes to interpersonal relationships, but also the relationships you have with yourself, which is, of course, a very important one, I would say. And so it's through cosplaying as these beloved characters that I have learned to repair and heal a lot of the relationships with myself and aspects of myself. And April O'Neil is a really special character to me because she's the whole reason why I even moved out to Toronto. I'm originally from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I moved out to this big city a long time ago. It was like 2008, and I originally came out here for broadcast journalism because I wanted to be just like April O'Neil in the big city, maybe find some turtles in the sewer. Haven't found that yet. But it's funny. And I'm going to say hi to everybody. Hello, you guys. Welcome. Duodon. I hope I'm saying your name correctly with the accent aigu on the end. And let's see here, Underworld. Hello and thank you. Welcome. So this is the weekend read. I typically try to do a weekend read as being like Saturday morning cartoons. And if you guys are new to my live, I read comic books live, and it's kind of an ode to teachers. When I was growing up in the prairies, I had a really small my high school is a different story. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. That's a story for another time. But my little elementary school was a really small one, and I had really great teachers who used to do things like, I don't know if you guys ever had that, where like at the front of the classroom, you're like, oh, I'm going to read you a book. And they did all the voices and all that kind of stuff. Oh, hello. Okay, so I love April O'Neil, Channel 6 News, and just the concept of her knowing the truth about things, right? And I think a great attribute to have as a character and as a person is to know when to keep a secret, right? I would say one of my best attributes is that if you tell me a secret, it goes in the vault forever and ever and ever, unless you tell me I can free it. But I keep secrets. I have had friends, and I have had, well, ex-friends now, and I've had people who have not kept secrets, and it's been very hurtful, right? Because yeah, it's just one of those things when to know when to keep a secret. So bringing this back to April O'Neil, she of course knows about the Ninja Turtles living under the sewer, but it's not like go around telling everybody, oh, hey, ATP, Jaco. Oh, I'm also streaming this live on Beam and Twitch, as well as YouTube. because you know what all happened with the whole TikTok ban thing. I was like, oh, I need to make sure I have some redundancy in all of this. So I'm going to write a little note here, and hello to all of you on TikTok as well, my OG crew. Just a quick also reminder, I'm doing an official meeting of the Cosmic Comic Book Club on Monday. And so in 2025, the last Monday of the month, I'm going to be hosting the Cosmic Comic Book Club, which is basically, we're going to revisit a series of comic books. And we're going to basically take a theme from that and do an analysis. Now, the first half is going to be free for everybody, public viewing. And we're going to actually do a reading of Crisis on Infinite Earths, Multiversity, as well as there's a few others. So because the theme of Monday's talk is the multiverse and multiverses in general, and that whole concept of it, and how different worlds like Marvel, the Spider-Verse as well, has also dealt with multiverses. So how these different worlds deal with it. Welcome. I just wanted to say hey there. Okay, perfect. So, oh my goodness, I just realized my stream title is wrong for some of these things. I'm not Supergirl right now. I'm April. So let's get right into the comic book read. And then what I'm going to do is a quick change a little later. And Barbara Gordon Batgirl is going to be hosting a little second half. Because as you can see here, they both play in the same panels in today's read. So thank you guys for joining me. Underworld TikTok will never anywhere. We are safe. Thanks for that, Underworld. We need more vibes like that out there, right? We are the creators of our own universe. So let's not be ashamed of our own power to be able to impact change in our reality, right? So they animated that comic book. Yeah, I could. Did they really Demon Slap Out? Oh, I've missed you. I've missed you and all of your copious knowledge on things and random knowledge about it. So I need to find that. I will find that cartoon. Maybe we can do like a watch party of it, and we'll keep that behind, like, not public, so that the copyright police don't come after me. Okay, so I'm not going to go from the very, very beginning of this. I'm going to go right to where the Ninja Turtles come into, they meet Batman and Robin. Now, I have previously read you guys another crossover. It's really interesting how Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, out of all of the comic book universes to cross over with, they typically cross over with Gotham and the Bat family. I wonder why. I guess it's that whole idea of dealing with like the shadows and things like that. And the one I read previously, it had to do with, oh my gosh, my mind is blanking slightly. Oh yeah, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got trapped in Gotham City. And then they have to figure out a way back, because if they don't, they'll like, their molecular structure will like fall apart. Something, because these are the rules of multiverses and time travel, you guys. And that's what, even in Lost Boys, they figured out how to fight the vampires through comic books, because they're like, oh yes, it's a manual for things. And so as we go through this ascension period in the cosmos, as I told you guys, I'm an astrologer, it's like comic books and stories that you find resonance with. It's so interesting how you can find the answers in the unlikeliest of places. So I'm so thankful that you guys are joining me today, this afternoon. This is the weekend comic book read, so less of spicy content, not Promethea, not Crises, not Constantine. All those are really like spicy reads where like the algorithm gets mad at me. This is like all ages friendly. So let me just skip ahead. I thought I wouldn't like this animation style of the turtles, but it totally grew on me. I will show you guys just some of the panels. Joker and Miss Harley Quinn. I need to find me a Harley Quinn, you guys. You need to put that out there. If there's a Harley Quinn cosplayer that can do that whole puddin voice that the voice actress does really well in the animated series, or maybe I can just find her. I'm open to it. I'm going to do my own little hunting for things, because I'm trying to contact John Carpenter, because I'm doing a spiritual successor to Escape from New York and LA. And so I want him to be in it. And I was like, you know what? Maybe he would, because he's filmed a lot of stuff in Toronto before, right? Like Mouth of Madness. And I love Kurt Russell, by the way. Okay. Harley Quinn Season 5 is out now. Oh, good. Yes. Thank you for the update, Demon Slapper. And my doggy is now dreaming again. Wolfie, Wolfie, my own anamorphic mutant pet. I'm pretty sure Wolfie's not actually a dog. I'm pretty sure he's like Sonic. You know, like you call Sonic a hedgehog, but he's not a hedgehog. He's like an alien. So you just, or Tails, like the fox, right? Oh, I watched Sonic 3 the other day, or actually yesterday, and I thought it was so good. I loved it. There's a scene in there, if you guys haven't watched it, this isn't a spoiler, I don't think, but they have that little holographic thing, and so James Marsden, who I will always refer to as Cyclops, so he and his wifey, they're doing their little covert mission. Oh, don't worry, this isn't a spoiler, but this is from Sonic 3, which I recommend you see. But they go on this covert mission, and so James Marsden, and I forget the chickie who plays his wife in that. She's a very pretty girl. They press the little holograph thing to put on their costumes, and the wife, she becomes Rachel. Like her secret, her covert identity is Rachel, and it's so funny. She's like, I love being Rachel. I'm like, me too, girl. I love being Rachel too. And James Marsden changes into Shamar Moore. And if I don't, like, my mom and I used to watch like soap operas, like Days of Our Lives back in the day, and Shamar Moore was like the hot guy who was always like carrying groceries and stuff. Sonic, Shadow, and Silver is the three hedgehog. Yes, it's really good. And Shadow is basically like John Wick Sonic. Like, you know, like really dark. He rides a motorcycle. He's very like mysterious. He's there for revenge. So I won't spoil anything else other than go watch it. And it brought me back to being like, yeah, I'm going to read Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tomorrow as April O'Neil, because in that story as well, Shadow has a friendship with a girl named Maria. No different than like in this case, you know, there's a sweetness of that kind of friendship, right? Let's see here. Oh, Sam Ray, 6:30. Thank you for that. And I keep on going off on a tangent instead of reading. So I want to, let's see here. Okay. Let's just jump right into it. Just like a dream where like you don't know where you are in the dream and you're just here now. Okay. So we got Foot attack. So evil Shredder comes in, busts in the door, busts in the place, and then Joker says, I'd be careful if I were you, Sparky. And Harley's got her little smug look being like, yeah, mister, you better watch it. And then Joker says, unless you want to put that foot in your mouth, so to speak. And honestly, do you even know where that's been? So this is Joker talking to Shredder. Because of course, like the bad guys, I guess, will team up at some point, but they will fight first. Okay. Ha 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 ha. And now we flash back to Gotham City. Batman, I got Alfred's call. What's up? Robin, the Boy Wonder, and the lighter side of the Dark Knight. That's interesting how they added that little. I like it in comics when they have that, when a character first makes an appearance, they have a little like panel to introduce them, because not everyone is going to be privy to all of the characters. Birds of Prey does this a lot as well, when you have like Huntress come in, or Dinah, or like the different Batgirls, just so you get like a reference point as to like which version are we dealing with, right? And I'm pretty sure this is Dick Grayson Robin. Okay. You brought a friend, says Batman, all like, oh, you brought a girl with you. And Batgirl, looking all hot, says, oh, hi there. We're on a team up, says Robin. And Batgirl says, fairly new to the whole crime fighting thing. It rarely shows. And then Batman has this like face. He's like, Continues, I've been tracking a series of interdimensional portals from the Batcave. This is the first to show up on my system. But there will be more. I don't know how you end up knowing these kinds of things, Batman, but I digress. Oh, Mr. Taco Town. Oh my gosh, I didn't even say that right. Mr. Taco Town. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate it. Much love from April O'Neil. Okay, so let's see here. There will be more. And then interdimensional portals. And Batgirl's like, that's like a thing? Interdimensional portals are a thing? Really, says Robin. And Batman like flies away. Yes, really. It's always taco time in Taco Town. And I love tacos, by the way. My favorite tacos are like Baja tacos. Actually, all tacos. I do not discriminate between my tacos. Okay. Uh, really. And then it's how the Joker and the others got out of Arkham. So, Arkham, just to give you guys some background, because I kind of jumped into the middle of the story. In the beginning of the story, Arkham, all the criminals have somehow escaped Arkham, but it's because of an interdimensional portal opened by guess who, Krang, and the Foot and all that. Because remember Dimension X and all that kind of stuff? And there's this whole idea of, when the ooze hits Arkham. We'll get to that. We'll get to that very soon. Okay. Makes it hard. Okay, best guess is that they enter a portal, it disappears, and then relocates them somewhere else in the city. It makes it hard for anyone to follow and leaves a method of escape a mystery. And then Batgirl says, a mystery to anyone but you. Naturally, whoa, what she said. Okay, so that's what a portal to another dimension looks like, which kind of begs the question. What's on the other side? And then on the other side, we got Miss April looking at the portal. So this is kind of cool. Like, I'm going to recreate this scene where, like, Batgirl's looking through the portal, and on the other side is April O'Neil looking back through the portal. That would be a cool scene. Thanks, Oliver. Okay, so then how many of these things are there? And then you can see on the other side. So in this story, the portal looks like a pink triangle. It looks other dimensionally enough. All right. How many of these things are there, says April. And now we're back in New York City, Central Park. I'm not sure, April. My locator can only find one at a time. Something about the way the energy is displaced. We got good old Donatello on it with the gadgets. It's kind of like Tails and Sonic too. You gotta have a gadgets guy. And that's the thing too, why Donatello and Batman get along, because, the gadgets guys. Hey, Squishy the Seal, welcome. Welcome to the library. We're reading Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Batman. And I am your host, April O'Neil. And we'll have Babs on a little bit later. But it's fun because these two ladies get to play together in this story read. So super fun weekend read, really wholesome, not so dark, not crises, not any of that kind of stuff. So it's a fun little team up, but it also deals with like interdimensionality, my favorite topic, portals. What are portals, gateways, dimensions, other worlds, dreams, all that kind of juicy good stuff. All right. So Donatello says, I'm not sure, April. My locator can only find one portal at a time. Something about the way that the energy is displaced. It's so glowy. You think it's just chock full of mad dudes or mud dudes? Mud dudes. It's so glowy. Do you think it's just chock full of mud dudes? Who knows what the Krang are capable of engineering or what has come through it already. Okay, so I don't know who created the portal, but I'm pretty sure it was Krang, because Krang deals with that whole Dimension X thing, and I think that's where the ooze comes from. But Leonardo's basically saying, like, if the Krang made this, like, this portal, then there's probably other nefarious things happening. Oh yeah, Relax Junior. What an interesting topic, interdimensionality and portal opening, right? Because if you look at, so I'm actually starting, well, I'm already doing this. I have a production company, but I'm starting a radio show. I'm trying to get on AM radio and like a throwback to like old analog ways of dispersing stories and sharing stories. And so, in terms of this and like reading out loud, if you remember like War of the Worlds back in the day when they only had radio, is that all that was like read out on like radio, and because of the way the voice actors were and like the sound effects, you could really have these stories come to having comic books do that as well, and then you can have like a video portion that goes along with it if you would like. But even better if you have the comic book at home with you and you can kind of like follow along and read along. So I'm working on all of that kind of stuff. And if you guys are interested in being involved, I'm trying to have all those pathways. So, that's very sweet, guys. Mikey was the greatest turtle, read The Last Ronin. Oh my goodness, I am getting The Last Ronin very soon. So I will definitely be doing that as a live read for sure. I need to dress up my little doggy as one as the Ninja Turtles. Okay, so where are we here? They're looking at the portal, and of course Mikey. I love Mikey. If you guys have a favorite Ninja Turtle, please do drop in the chat. So when I was growing up, my favorite Ninja Turtle was Leonardo. So I had this affinity for I had this affinity for the leader of the pack, right? And just, you know, that whole concept of like what it takes to make those really hard decisions and the courage it takes to do that. As I've grown up, I've learned to love Michelangelo, right? This whole idea of, yeah, because Leo's got to make certain choices, but I do love all of them, right? I've learned to love all of them because that's the point of having a team. Like, it would be so boring if everyone in the team had the same powers, and nor could you get anything done. So our uniqueness is what makes everything so special. I think sometimes we forget that. And, you know, Donatello, for example, super nerdy as he is actually April O'Neil's best friend. And I did a little talk, this was about a year ago maybe, when I was first coming into astrology, about how the Ninja Turtles actually line up with certain signs. And so I'm a Taurus. Michelangelo's kind of a Taurus, right? He loves pizza and eating and his friends and all that kind of stuff. So, and he's kind of like courageous in a way that like is very sweet. Hey J-Mags, happy Saturday. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are in Injustice 2. So is Supergirl apparently. So I need to play Injustice 2. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's see. So they're looking at the portal. Michelangelo, of course, is like sticking his hand in the portal because he doesn't care. And he's like, oh my gosh, I feel something on the other side. And meanwhile, Leonardo's saying, we need to keep our guard up and survey the area before. And Donatello's like, oh my gosh, Mikey, don't put your hand in the portal. Like, don't, that's what I mean too. Like certain science fiction movies, you know, like there's like a weird, strange portal opening. Like, would you just put your hand in? Like, I'd put like a stick, you know, and like maybe like probe, maybe a camera or something. I think they did that in Stargate. You put in like a first probe to see, right? Hey Joe DeCristo, welcome to the live comic book read. I'm your host, April O'Neil. We're reading a crossover comic. It is always Mikey Jaco. Okay, so he says that he's. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. He's like, I feel something on the other side, and look at what he's feeling. It's Batman's face. So he's just pushing through like, oh my gosh, what's this on the other side of the portal? And Batman's like, oh my gosh, this green hand. He's like, so Mikey's like, oh, what is it? Oh, I think it's a gargoyle. And as he's pressing more into the face, it's like, oh, it's a really angry gargoyle. And then through the portal, Batman punches him. Oh, thank you for the rose there. Oh my gosh. I'll call you V for Vendetta because I can't say your name, but yes. That's a really angry gargoyle. So he punches through because, of course, some strange green man is like touching his face. And Batman walks through the portal. And he's like, okay, explain yourselves quickly. Look at how big and jacked Batman looks in this. It's so interesting. Each way that these characters are illustrated just brings a different like depth of what these characters are in the story. It just, like, as I said, I thought that I wouldn't like, but this looks like the animation, right? This style of illustration looks like the animation, right? Versus much more, I guess, detailed style, or where it looks like it's more of a drawing. Raphael's your favorite Gotten Bitch? Yeah, you and my hubs have that in common. He's got a little bit of like a lone wolf situation, but it's one of those things like Han Solo or those ones who are a bit more like the anti-hero, but you're in a team of people that you love, and so like when the chips are down, you will always come through, but sometimes you just need to go your own way for a time, and that's just the way it is. Okay, I have a thing for that character as well. So Batman has come through the portal and he says, explain yourselves quickly. And then Mikey reacts very dramatically, like, oh my gosh. Ah, mutant bat creature from beyond. And Raphael kicks into gear right away, just like, right into attack mode. No thinking, just right away. That's very, very in character, Raphael. So he attacks back. He's like, explain this. And before he can fully attack, Batman pushes back because Batman's also trained in combat. And Donatello says, whoa, slow down, guys. We don't know what we're dealing with. And through the portal comes Batgirl, looking pretty sweet, I might add, and then Mikey yells out, another mutant bat creature from the beyond. Oh, PCJP, thank you. Raphael and Elektra have the same weapon, the Sai, yes. It's funny, actually. My best friend growing up, she's Callisto in the chat sometimes, but her name's Laura. But she had 2 older brothers, and so when I would come over to her house in the basement, they had like a Super Nintendo and as well like a boxing bag, and then all these like random weapons, like a katana, the nunchucks, and 2 Sais, and those things are actually very, you could really like F someone up if you know how to work with them. However, I did not like Raphael in the arcade games because his reach is very short, right? So if you're trying to like hit a bad guy from far away, Donatello's good, right? Or like Leonardo, you have like good reach, but Raphael's like very short, just so you know. Okay, so Batgirl comes through the portal as well, following Batman, and Mikey's like, oh my gosh, it's another bat creature from beyond the portal. And then Robin finally follows in tow and says, and Mikey's like, and a kid dressed in red. A kid dressed in red. And then Robin says to Batman, he's like, situation? I would guess genetic mutation. Ninjutsu training. Possibly hostile. And then the Sai comes towards Batman's face. He's like, okay, definitely hostile. Okay, hold on a second. Wolfie, don't try to... I'm going to kick you out of the server for a second. Okay. See, Daddy's here. That's so cool. He knew you were back, so he was just like, so here. He's back. There you go. Where did I... Oh my goodness. Okay, quick commercial break because of my Wolfie. Dad came home, so Wolfie's like, I need to make sure that everything is all right. Which, of course, yes. Guardian of the place. All right, so where were we? So Batman, Batgirl, and Robin have come through the portal. Mikey is like, oh my gosh, 2 bat creatures and some kid dressed in red coming through the portal. What the heck are we going to do? From Batman and Robin's perspective, Batman's like, I think genetic mutation, and they're possibly hostile. Raphael throws one of his Sais at here. Turtle in Time is my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. It's funny, you can play that on this emulator I have that I'm going to share very soon. Yay! Oh, thanks, Volcom, for that. Yay! Lighting it up. You know, I actually haven't played Turtles in Time. I only really remember the arcade one. And I replayed that one with my sister recently. And I don't remember Shredder being so hard. And I remember using all my quarters at the airport to just get to that point. But I don't remember Shredder being as hard as he was when I played. He's like mutated and stuff in the game. I am on a tangent. Let's keep going. Okay, definitely hostile, says Batman, especially the little one. And then Donatello, ever the ladies' man, he's like, oh wow, look at this pretty bat creature. Maybe I might try my hand at speaking with her. He says, oh, hello, I'm Donatello. I think we got off on the wrong, and then instead of finishing foot, her foot hits Donatello in the face. You see what they did there? Thunk. And then because Batgirl hit Donnie in the face, April's like, hey, leave them alone. And so this is a common trope I find when you have heroes from different dimensions first coming, like meeting each other, right? They'll typically fight first. And I like how they do that interaction here. You'll see. Okay, so then Mikey is like here. Okay, Mikey, you got this. You can fight these guys. I got the pirate, you guys. And Robin's like, the pirate? Who are you talking about? Don't try to deny it. No. I love you, Michelangelo. He's like, don't try to deny it, Captain No-Beard. You're a pirate. And Robin's like, I am not a pirate. Oh, yeah? Well, explain the I love you, Michelangelo. And then Robin's like, wow. Just wow. And then meanwhile, April and Batgirl are fighting up here. Oof. You're human, so why are you working for Krang? Am I supposed to know what a Krang is, says Batgirl. You travel through an alien portal and you don't notice. Oh, I don't know. Aliens? Seriously, says Batgirl. I'm not the one who's hanging out with little green men. Touche there, Batgirl. And then Batman is off here fighting with Leonardo because, of course, the leader, Leo, is going to go up against Batman. Although, however, in the other comic book I read, you had all of the Ninja Turtles attempt to fight Batman as one and weren't really able to do it. They had to be more coordinated. But then Splinter went up against Batman, and that was pretty cool. Okay. So, Kaya! And then humph. Batman says, oh, you're pulling back on your punches. And you're not going for lethal strikes. And Leonardo says, well, yeah, well, neither are you. Wait. We're on the same side, aren't we? Right? We're like, wait a minute. I think we're both the good guys, right? The best comics where the whole Arkham gets infected by the ooze. Yes, I think I read that one on this show before. And then you had, which kind of makes sense, right? It would. I think that's why they connect those two, because those types of tropes actually go well with each other. And then the mutations and that kind of situation. Hold on, where are we? We're on the same side, aren't we? And then Batman says, okay, hold that thought. Help me! Somebody help me! Please, no, slice. Ew. I think that's already happened here, Demon Slap Out. I feel like Turtles versus Batman is this new. It's kind of new, Estoza. I think it's new-ish. But they're only fighting because they first met. Because, as you can see here, Batman noticed that Leonardo wasn't necessarily going full force. Like, if you're like a trained martial artist and you're going up someone else who, so like I've done boxing and I'm not like super powered yet, but let's say you're fighting someone else. You can tell when someone's not necessarily going at like 100%, right? When you're like holding back, it's an energy thing. So it's like Batman was like, okay, wait a minute, you are holding back. And then Leonardo's like, wait a minute, this must mean we're on the same side, because there's this level of like measuring each other up as it comes to being on the same team as well. Okay, so so Batgirl and April O'Neil are fighting, and then Leonardo discovered that they're on the same side, and no sooner than he's discovered that, this lady's like, oh my gosh, help me, because this like weird evil praying mantis monster is there. So we'll see who that actually is. Snakeweed? What? Is that a real... Is this a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bad guy? Mutant hybrid. Okay. Oh, it is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bad guy. Pretty intense. Leonardo says, we have fought this guy before. This is our mess. No. This is what Batman says. this isn't one of yours. It's one of mine. And oh, look, it's Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy. I love it. Master Mother Nature on a bad day. A really bad day. I love Poison though. Look at this. Like, isn't she wonderful? This animation, like this version of her, I love. So it kind of makes sense that she got the praying mantis guy to help her out. So they've now interacted, and they thought it was someone that the Ninja Turtles were against, but it's really Poison Ivy behind it. Reminds me that we should revisit Arkham Knight again. All right, so now they've decided Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman, they're on the same side. And Batman's like, okay, this is not your mess. This is actually my mess. But maybe it's more of like a combination of messes that they need to deal with together. Soggy Dogs, so you're in the comic book if you're Batman. Which version of Batman, though? What universe? Oh, it's this. I'll bring it up. I should have flipped it. Sorry. I actually have gotten used to flipping the comic book so that you can actually see it and read it. But maybe I'll do that a little bit later when I flip to when I'm Barbara. Okay. Central Park, New York City. Okay, I'm confused. Didn't Snakeweed get all blown up and stuff? That's what I thought. But he's back and teamed up with some lady, some lady with leaves for pants. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know why I find that so funny. But he's back, and he's teamed up with some lady with leaves for pants. Well, that's what it looks like. And now we're friends with the weird bat people in the capes. That about sums it up. And you can see, so they're both now fighting, all of them together. And the narration is just to get all of you up to speed. That's basically what has happened thus far. Season 5, Harley, Poison Ivy, Batman, and Superman are fighting Brainiac. Oh, yeah. Brainiac's an intense bad guy, you guys. I was doing some research. I guess this is kind of like DC Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universes colliding with each other. And if you guys want to join the Cosmic Comic Book Club analysis on multiverses on Monday, I will have a link on how you can join that very soon. I have the first half up on YouTube will be free, where we go through the readings of it, but then we're going to go through, I'm going to have like a little chart of all different multiverses that exist, because DC has a way they've mapped the multiverses, Marvel has a way they've mapped the multiverses. We have crossovers between Doomsday, the Watchmen, and DC. We have crossovers between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and DC. We have crossovers between Promethea and DC, right? And so it's kind of like leaves for pants is not a bad idea. That's true. I agree. But yeah, just like my little note there. Join the Cosmic Comic Book Club. Just $10 a month for all of my reads, my post reads, which as I get them organized. Some will be free, of course, you guys. But some of the more spacey ones I've decided like they probably shouldn't be like public consumption. Okay, so even though they're being attacked by this big praying mantis guy, Mikey's hyped because he's like, wow, we're teamed up with the crazy bat guys and this is exciting. So he's like, this is the best day ever. And then the Lower East Side, I assume you have demands. Demands? Shreddy Poo, we've been friends for nearly 8 minutes now. I don't make demands of my besties. I was thinking more along the lines of a mutual relationship. You scratch my back, I put a kick me sign on yours. That's the Joker, right? That's his way of dealing with friends, partners, besties. Shredder just gives him a look as a result. Tall, dark, and silent, huh? You know, you're just my type. But let's be honest now. What are you saying here? Swipe army helmet, this town of yours. Well, it's my type too. I don't know what he's saying there. Just the base of finding explosives alone. Why? It's a breath of fresh air. Oh my gosh, I can't speak Joker. Maybe that's why. You know what? You sold me. I'll take the whole shebang. Wrap it up, will ya? So basically there's explosives. Joker likes explosives. So he's like, I'm going to take these explosives from you. So he's like, I'll take the whole thing. And then Shredder says, I want nothing to do with... Joker interjects and says, You've already made the deal, man. Don't oversell it. And then Tiger Claw, Razar, Fish Face. Imagine your name's Fish Face. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Trevor. Appreciate the rose. That's kind of a cool illustration, you know, of the bad guys. Got Shredder's pretty, like, you know, he's a pretty badass villain, if I must say. Joker makes this face. I see. You've brought along the whole dysfunctional family. Harley Quinn then says, Look, that one's a kitty. Can I pet the kitty pudding? Only if you don't value your hand, only if you don't value your hand. Because the tiger obviously, like, if you pet me, I'm going to bite you. And then, maybe this meeting of unstable minds wasn't the keenest idea. I love how Joker puts that. The meeting of unstable minds. Razor and Tuka were villains in the Teenage Mutant... Oh! Is that the Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go movie? Secret of the Ooze? Hey, Seneca is right. Welcome to the live. Okay. Where are we now? I was getting all... The villain panels are always so, like, dark. And, like, even just the way they talk. Like, how Joker talks is very, I guess you're a clown. Makes sense. Okay, maybe this meeting of unstable minds wasn't the keenest idea. Tell you what. You grant my gal Friday and me safe passage, and I won't bring this whole place crashing down on your little zoo crew. What say? Spit snake? I don't even know what that means. Spit snake. So he's got obviously like a little trick thing on his hand. Yeah, with a bit of like, yeah, we should bring that back. No? Well, how about a kiss for old Aunt Petunia? Ha ha ha. You don't. Now don't you start. If you start laughing, I'll get going. So basically, Joker has pushed out his, like, toxic gas, and which makes everyone start laughing like a maniac, which is kind of his, like, calling card if you think about it. So now don't you start. If you start laughing, you'll get me going, and then everyone starts to laugh. But seriously, folks, let's see who we have in attendance today. You seem like you've got a good, oversized head on your shoulders. Let me ask you a question. How do I get me a pair of those? What is he referring to here? Oh, he wants, like, Bebop and Rocksteady, like henchmen who are, like, mutants, obviously. And then back to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Bad Family. Get your head in the game, Mikey. We need you at 100% right now. Yeah, like math will make this more fun. Bat guy? It's Batman. Listen, tell your people to go for Snakeweed's heart. It's his weak spot. I wouldn't be so sure about that, says Batman. Chunk. Chunk, chunk. Whoa. He's adapting. I don't know what that means. Like, so I guess he's got, like, a little bit of, this was, like, his weak spot, but now it's covered by some sort of armored thing because he's upgraded, I suppose, probably due to some ooze because he's supposed to be dead. So, whoa, he's adapting, evolving right in front of us, Batgirl says. I don't think he's the only one doing the evolving. Uh-oh. Batwoman is right. Batgirl? So, is it Miss Batgirl or Mrs. Batgirl? Or Batgirl with a serious boyfriend who isn't looking for... April's like, oh my gosh, Donnie, this is not the right time. Batgirl is right. Snakeweed's never been the brightest bulb in the flower garden. Now he's bigger and fighting with a precision we've never seen before. Because he's not in the driver's seat, we'll keep Snakeweed busy. Robin, take the fight to Ivy. Ooh, yes. Way ahead of you. I'm with the kid. So it's Robin. Seriously, you hang with people called Batman and Batgirl and you go by Robin? Bet that strikes fear into the hearts of criminals everywhere. All right, tough guy. What's your name? It's Raphael. Well, okay. You showed me. Really shaking in my boots over here. Humph. Well, they are pretty cool boots. And then Ivy is in her like swing, of course, being her ever succulent self, saying, you know, I can't help but feel a little insulted. And then Batman jumps in and like he spikes some sort of like, I think it's a bomb into like the leaf. And Ivy continues, I travel all the way to wherever this beautiful place is, and Batman just sends his errand boys to deal with me. He's more interested in my new pet. What's a girl got to do to get some real attention? So Poison Ivy's offended that Raphael and and Robin are the ones who are coming and dealing with her, and Batman couldn't be bothered. He's dealing with the big mantis thing. And then there's a big kaboom. Oh, well, far be it from me to neglect the gentlemen callers I do have. And then Batman says, well, that won't work. Make yourselves at home. You know, I've killed a lot of plants in my day, says Robin. I keep buying them for my dorm room and they keep dying on me. Make this story shorter, says Robin. Turns out I kept making the same mistake over and over. Overwatering. So what does he have planned? What do you have planned there, Robin? Turtles can hold their breath for a while, right? Hey, nice shot. Is this supposed to be, sploosh? And then Raphael bringing her down into the water, right? Because overwatering, right, can kill plants. So he's going to use the whole overwatering technique against Miss Poison Ivy here. So bringing her down here, move. He's going down. Whoa, you just dished out the weed killer. That would be us. Cough, cough. Cough. He's not being literal, you know. Okay, once she's through the portal, we should have a good 10 minutes before it disappears. Flash. Okay. Scratch that. Make that 10 seconds until it disappears. Sorry, everyone. My calculations are a little off. No worries, Donnie. Poison can't die as long as there are plants and roots in the ground. I feel like Poison Ivy, as a character, she's actually far more powerful than people would think, right? It's like this whole idea of being really intrinsically connected to the earth herself and being able to tap into that power is kind of a thing. All right, and then we're now at the part that I wanted to get to the whole time we're here, guys. So we're going to read a couple more panels, and I'm going to say goodbye for now, and then we'll do a quick change into Batgirl, and then we've got a whole live stream schedule that I will be sharing with you guys as well. Yes, Ninja Turtles. Well, it's also a crossover. So I'm your host, April O'Neil. We're reading Ninja Turtles and Batman Adventures. So they have both now successfully taken down a bad guy, Poison Ivy and the weird mantis thing, and they've sent Poison Ivy back through the portal. So now, that one was on me. Okay, so let me see if I've got this straight. So they're now all in, they're still in New York City, so they're in the sewers and like the lair, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lair. I'd love to go there, by the way. All hanging out. Fun. So Robin says, April, Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Caravaggio? Dude, It's Michelangelo, as in the statue of David. Hello, the resemblance is uncanny. What else can you tell me about these portals? I've never seen anything like them, says Batman. We have, says Leonardo, too many times. They're built and controlled by a group of aliens called the Krang. We thought that we'd taken them down, but until today, we thought the same thing about snakeweed. Oh, interesting. Your cape is so awesome, I'm not allowed to wear one anymore. There was an incident with a blender. I don't really want to talk about it. Okay, says Robin. It got caught in there, and I was sent flying around the room. You don't really have to talk about... Got pizza stains on my favorite pair of underwear. Robin's just like, oh my gosh, please stop. Hey, iMummy. Hello, welcome. Batman. Oh, we've got a few Batmans in the chat. It's like Batman has entered the chat. Batmans. And as well, right? Like, if you look at this version of April O'Neil, I'm like a classic version from like the 90s cartoon, right? And of course, she's got like, it's a more like modernized and updated, like streetwise, cool April O'Neil, right? Okay. So Michelangelo's telling, thanks, Volcom, telling the story about how he's not allowed to wear capes anymore because his cape got caught in a blender and they got pizza stains all over his underwear and all this stuff. And Robin's like, can you please like stop talking to me? Aw, thank you. Is Batman still alive? Yes. There's many versions where Batman is gone, right? And I think for a little time, Dick Grayson holds the mantle of Batman, but what a thing to try to hold that mantle like after Bruce Wayne, right? And then he becomes Nightwing, and maybe Batman's not really dead and he comes back in some sort of way, right? April and Casey, 100%. April and Casey Jones. And also, like, you know, in my other comic book, when the turtles are trapped on the other side, the other dimension, April comes through. She's the one who like finds a way to like open the portal to get them back. And she's like, you know, I could have disintegrated coming here, but I care about you, and you're my friend, so I'm gonna come get you. He's dead from my timeline. You know, that's the crazy thing, you guys. Like, different timelines, different versions, depending on what story you are reading, those characters are either alive or dead. And I actually have a really fun comic book, The Flash, written by Grant Morrison and Mark Miller, which is trippy AF, and I have to figure out what cosplay to do for that. Maybe a female version of The Flash, we'll see. But it's just all to say that time travel, different dimensions, different versions of things, it's like all happening always at once. It's just about your perspective, like thinking about like a record playing on a track, right? The record as it goes. So like growing up, me and my dad in the basement used to listen to old vinyl records. Like he used to love Elvis a lot. That's why I like Elvis a lot. It's like, but let's think of different realities as like tracks, right? So you have like 12 tracks on that CD, and like depending on where you are on that track, that's the song that's playing, but that song is still part of the greater album, right? It's not separate from it. So it's like a way of realizing multiverses in that concept, that like, and that song is always still happening. It's just about where you're putting the needle down and where you're hearing it. All the Robins fight each other to become Batman. It's called The Fight for the Cowl. Ooh, that's a good one. I might try to find that one, because I do appreciate Robin as a character. I love sidekicks. I don't know what it is, because you always need a friend. You always, like, it's so boring and like lonely when it's by yourself. You need friends to help out. Okay, so after Mikey and Robin have this like awkward conversation, and then Donatello is talking to Batgirl saying, so Batgirl, I kind of like your cape too. Thanks. You have a nice shell? Nope, this ain't awkward on any level, says Raphael. And then Splinter enters. I was born with it. I think it really accents my... And when Splinter enters, Batgirl's like, whoa, it's like a big rat. Everyone's seeing the giant rat man, right? Yeah, that's sort of our dad. Oh, Sure. Why not? Of course, a big giant rat is your dad. Sensei, I was listening to my radio station when it was interrupted. Master Splinter. No word on the exact threat causing this widespread panic. Eyewitness reports have varied from talk of aliens to gigantic spiders. Well, it seems like there is some sort of riot in the East Village as well. So remember, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe takes place in New York City, right? And this concept of like, you don't know what's going on in the sewers or underneath your feet, right? So yes, that the portals have been opening, so we're getting like mutants, aliens, and people are freaking out. We need to get on this fast. That could be the Krang, or hold on, I just located another portal. It's over in Chinatown. It'll have to wait. We can't afford to waste even we split up, says Batman. Leonardo and Raphael are with me. We'll head to the village. I love how Batman chose, if I would choose to, I would choose them too for like, covert tactics. So Batman chooses Raphael and Leonardo to come with him. Donatello and the others locate the portal. No one gets in or out. Well, that makes sense because Leonardo is like nerdy. Sorry, Donatello is nerdy. And so you would need him to be there to monitor the portal stuffs. And Batman says, do your best to stay out of sight. We do not want to attract any more attention. And then this is as, there looks like there's like a cassette tape going in there. Anybody know what time it is? It's 10:30. That's right. It's Mikey mixtape time. This is why I love Michelangelo too. Always need a good mixtape in the van when you're like hanging out with your friends and going on covert missions. Am I right? Portal stuff. Yeah, well, you do. Like, to open portals, there's always got to be a portal expert on the team. Whatever that means to you, guys. Leo and Don are my favorite turtles. Aw, I love them too. It's so hard for me to choose, but for me, I loved Leonardo and then I loved Michelangelo. But, it's them as a team, right? That's why it's so fun, and how you can like relate to each one of them, and like all your different friends that you have, you can see how like your relationships almost mirror those types of relationships. Like Raphael and Donatello have that almost like begrudging respect for each other. And this also concept of, well, like Raphael doesn't like being told what to do, but to be a leader is not about telling other people what to do. It's about knowing your team's strengths and creating the plan, the strategy, and how to do it. It's not like that's just being tyrannical, right? But you have to also think too, like Raphael, I think once he does more soul searching, you realize like, I wouldn't actually want to be the leader either, right? So it's like this knowing what special place you have on the team. So, okay, let's keep going, friends. And then I will wrap in about 3 minutes. 3-minute call. Okay. Oh my gosh. I can hear my own Gotham City in the background. We need to get on this fast. That could be the Krang, or... Oh, wait, sorry. I already read that. We're going to move on. We're in the mixtape. Now, music is playing. Batgirl's kind of looking like, okay, didn't Batman just say not to attract attention? Wingnut rap? Is that what... Okay. And then Batgirl says, what are you doing? A sweet head bop. Wingnut rap. Oh my gosh, could you please stop? Go, boy, go. Go, go, go. Well, this is going to be a real hoot. Go, Wingnut, go. Oh my gosh, I think it's like go, ninja, go. That might be the Wingnut bat is from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, thank you for that. Okay, no, I'm in Toronto right now. I'm not in Winnipeg yet. However, do stay tuned for some fun, I would say Canadiana travel tour dates. Put it that way. Okay, go Wingnut, go. That's how I'm going to read it, I think. And Batgirl's just like, oh my gosh, Mikey, come on now. One hoot later, go Wingnut, go. Go Wingnut, go. We're here, says Batgirl. What? I mean, whatever, I know. That's cool. Okay, Hold up, guys. Shadows, 5 o'clock. Dude, turtles don't even shave. Yeah, so that's super creepy. And then flashing back to, where are we? You're going to make content on the red. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to make content on like hidden histories and stories in Canada, right? So, as I said, I'm from the prairies. I'm from Winnipeg. I moved out to Toronto. Like, big kudos to April O'Neil for bringing me out here because I wanted to be like Channel 6 News, like investigative journalist. Even Lois Lane is an investigative journalist, right? And I think there's a tell there when it comes to reality, like news anchors, this idea of anchoring in a story, anchoring in a reality, and this concept of how we tell stories and the freedom by which we are able to do so. And in conversation with others, oftentimes new ideas, new concepts, new ways of how we do things come up, right? So, I mean, I have conversations with myself all the time, but it's always fun when I talk to Aria, my husband, like you guys. Like, it's whenever you reach out through the ether and like connect in that dialogue, how something new is born, and that's like alchemy, right? The concept of something being more than the sum of its parts, and like, yeah, I'm going to do a couple more pages and then I'm going to wrap up this read. So we've got here, no sign of the Krang. Snakes, get them off me. Let's get down there. No, you're not prepared for this. Stick to the rooftops. Let me know when you see him. Him? Who are we looking for? The man dressed like a scarecrow, because now you're dealing with some like toxin gas and stuff. I don't think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are as they don't deal with as much of like psychological warfare, so that's why Batman's like, you guys aren't ready for this type of fight. Dressed like a what now? Be nice. If he'd fill us in for once. Leo? Who did this? You did this to me. This way, quickly. And they're running because it's like Scarecrow, right? He deals with like fear toxins, and all that kind of stuff. Aw, Sarek, that's sweet. That's sweet. You know, I will show you guys the Flash comic book that I'm going to read you a little bit later as a way to like end this, because there's something really special about being aware of like the different versions of you, right? And not to get lost in it either. So it's a good way to end it here. These are scary though, by the way, these little illustrations of, because remember Scarecrow, and you can see how like the panels are even illustrated where it's got that red tinge to it. So this like idea of like, I'm in like a nightmare. And I love that in movies too as well, like when you're in the perspective of what that character is, so like how it's lit, all of the way that looks is cool. And that, I think what's missing a lot in movies these days is that, like, we do have the technology and the ability to kind of like go there with things, but we play it safe a lot still. And I think I know why, but I won't get into my little conspiracy theories just yet. Okay, so now we've got, you'll be safe in here, Dr. Jonathan Crane, also known as the Scarecrow. I forgot that Jonathan Crane was his real name, but there we go. So that is my read for now. There's still a continuation of it, right? Because I won't ruin it. I just want to see how far I want to read next time. Now that the Bat family has teamed up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, and Nightwing's in this too. Hey. So we'll continue this story a little later today, but I will be Batgirl for it. I'm going to try to film some stuff where, you know, the Portal, April, and Batgirl can have a conversation. They have a lot in common in terms of their personalities as well, right? It's very self-sufficient. And, you know, I grew up at a time when the broadcasting tool we have been gifted was very powerful. You can create wild dreams. Oh, that's really sweet. So I thank you guys for allowing me into your consciousness. Because that's, my biggest advice for people is this, is that you truly are the master creator of your own universe, right? And that's not like in any kind of narcissistic way. It's just a truth, right? And you have a big, beautiful universe. Like when I do astrology, you have your own sun, your own moon, your own Mercury, all of that kind of stuff. Oh, Sarah, that's so sweet. And so you are the magic in the story, right? So as I'm reading this out to you, I'm of course giving you my perspective on these characters. I love them for various different reasons. But it's a way of sharing my worldview and my perspective with you in a way that's not like, well, I think that, I don't know, like it's just, we don't have to force other people to think the way we think. That's so boring. I love it when someone can give me a brand new perspective on something, or someone can, I'm like, oh, I never thought of it that way before. And so I welcome all of you guys to be open to new ideas, be open to different perspectives, be okay with that little like emotional trigger sometimes when someone says something like, oh wait, I don't agree with that, but why? And like, and maybe it's okay that you don't agree, and that's the point, and that's the beauty of like what makes you unique, and you can maybe bring a certain new perspective to that person, and then you both grow, right? Oh yes, Sebastian, yes, I love astrology as well. So I do have a talk. I will link to this in the replay of it, to my talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as the fixed stars in astrology. So in astrology, you have cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs. So if you go through the whole chart, like Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn are all cardinal, and the fixed signs are Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. And those actually match up to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? So like Leo is a Leo, Mikey's a Taurus, Donatello's an Aquarius, and Raphael is a Scorpio, right? So those kind of like match up in terms of being a certain archetype. And if we get into like esoteric stuff, they're also known as like the four guardians of heaven, right? Whatever that means to you, right? And this idea of guarding and holding and having structure is part of fixedness. And there is a level of learning that we can have with each other based on like what modality we are, right? So Geminis, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Virgos are all mutable signs. So these signs are much more flexible. They're able to kind of shift and change. And sometimes people are like, oh, that's shifty and or duplicitous, but like it's all like at the right time, right? So like, for example, a big learning for me being a Taurus has been, like just because you spent a lot of time making a mistake doesn't mean you have to keep going and making that mistake, right? But it's like, oh, but I invested all this time doing this, right? But it's not working. But to be able to like take a really hard look at that and be like, okay, I need to shift. I need to like move, and like that can be really hard for fixed signs, right? And depending on what element your sign is in, it'll have like a different flair for it as well. Oh, that's really sweet. So you know what? I grew up in Winnipeg, right? And I grew up watching Much Music, right? All the VJs and YTV, and so all those VJs and like that oh my gosh, it's like Toronto's reacting to me waking up. Like, so I live in downtown Toronto. It's crazy pants here. This city has changed so much since I moved here, and not necessarily in a good way. I used to watch, yeah. We got ourselves fish tank with the fish. We got to have some fishes soon. Oh, nice. Oh, fishies. I remember having a fish tank when I and you should get some turtles. I think turtles need a little island though, right? They need like they're not always in the water, right? And I love turtles. I love all animals, you guys. I think growing up, many of us who were like shy kids were probably like, oh, I don't like people. I would rather just hang out with animals. They're just much more simple, right? Much Music, Ed the Sock. Oh yeah, Ed the Sock, Human Slap Out. I used to love, so I used to watch Electric Circus. And me and my friends, I literally had the best, most amazing girlfriends growing up, you guys. And I thank goodness for my friends. And I've been very blessed to reconnect with a lot of them now. I will get into the whole story as to like, I went through my own trauma when I left Winnipeg and came to Toronto and refound myself. But it's all to say that your friends who have loved you at different stages of your life, they love you forever, no different than like when I tell people like I love you, like I'll love you forever, right? Because time is always happening. And just something, as long as something has happened once, it always is, right? Dr. Manhattan says this when he talks about time with Lori. Like, just, it's never, like with Adrian, like end, there is no end. Nothing ends. Things are what they are. And it's just about being like lucid in the dream, I suppose, is a way of putting it. All right, friends, I went on much longer than I thought I would, a little extra 10 minutes. That was the comic book read, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Batman. Nice, wholesome weekend read with your friend April O'Neil in the Cosmos. I am trying to bring back the fish tank is 36 gallons gone, but you should have some lives with the fish tank as you build it out. Make a whole little like Atlantis under the water. You could look so trippy. I would love that. I used to have two fishes growing up, goldfish, Felipe and Feline. I don't know why I was really bad with names, which is why half the time I would write my stories, my creative writing stories, with my friends' names, because I was just really bad with like coming up with names. So I'm like, do you want to be my book? I'll write about you. Get Ronin the best. Yes, I am getting The Last Ronin. No worries. No, not off topic at all. It's related, isn't it? Juan. Thank you. That was fantastic. Oh, thanks, Sarah. And thank you for the gifts and the love and you guys being here and sharing your sacred attention with me right now. Because, I mean, I've only very recently been much more in tune with my own dream worlds, my own psychic abilities, whatever that means. And all I know is that you are all the weird stuff that make you, that's literally the most important thing. You know, like the fact that like example I like to use is this recently, where like no one can tell you what your favorite flavor of ice cream is, right? Like even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like no one can tell you like, well, your favorite must be Raphael. And you're like, but it's not, it's Michelangelo. Like, well, no, but it's Raphael. Like, it's like, no, what the heck? So you at an individual level, your likes, your dislikes, whatever you find resonance with, whatever you are like, you know what, I'm going to look into that. I'm going to learn how to do that. And where does that come from, right? That's all like your own DNA codes waking up when you need to wake up to. And it can be so hard, you guys, sometimes when there's all these other stories, these distractions, a lot of stuff where it's like it's really negative and it can be hard. And it's not to say that we shouldn't be aware of what we're in, right? But there's also a level of you came into this plane of existence for a very good reason, right? And so for you to be able to make time and space for yourself to work on you. And to some that might seem like, well, you're not hustling 9 to 5, you're not doing this, and yeah, but like I'm napping and maybe I'm gonna wake up and write about my dreams and I will solve problems that way. Like we haven't built into our society ways of us interacting with the mystical, the spiritual, and in a way that's not so like, oh well, it's medical or therapeutic, or no, like maybe we all just need a hug sometimes, right? Maybe you just need to be reassured that like it's all going to be okay. And I've grown up a lot, and I've unfortunately lost a lot of people, far more than I think someone of my age like should. But my astrology says like it's crazy how astrology works, and it can actually kind of predict stuff like that. But that being said, I have a very strong connection to other worlds. Not in the say like talking to the dead, that kind of thing. That's not the way it is. It's just the whole cycle of everything. And just when you can kind of like go quiet for just a second and like go, no, like, wow, this is amazing. The fact that we're here right here doing now and doing this live is just, what a miracle, right? You are a dream of your ancestors. You are the hope of millennia for you to be right here living this life. So, and only you are going to be able to live it. And so that's how I'm going to wrap up this live with you guys, that only you can be you. And it does take true courage to be exactly that, because the universe is counting on you. But no worries, I got your back. April O'Neil signing out. Till next time, my friends.